right,
Color
y'all. Listen,
purple.
tonight's guest is Eddie S. Pierce Jr. Eddie has, listen, first of all, Eddie has this very extensive bio that I don't even want to have the time to read because it's going to take up like the next half hour of the show. But just know this brother has done a lot of phenomenal work. This brother is a writer. He has this Master's of Fine Arts in Creative Writing degree from Chicago State University, Chi-Town in the house. He is an author, he is a publisher, and he owns his own publishing company. So, you know, I love talking to an entrepreneur. I love talking to someone who's going to give back to the community. You know, my frat brother Joe, he also has a publishing company. And if anybody knows about book publishing, it is not easy, especially when you are an author of color. So we got to begin to support our own. All right. So without further ado, help us welcome to the Donta Show for the very first time, the man, the myth, the legend, Eddie S. Pierce Jr. What up?
Wow. Just wow for the intro. Oh man.
Don't be dumbfounded. Don't be dumbfounded. Just jump on in. Jump on
in. You know, I tell people I did this a couple times with some shows where I got the intro like that, and every time I hear stuff like that, it's like, damn, he sounds amazing. Who is that? That's me. Wow. But the way you put it out there, dude, man. But can I real quick, I just want to make a real quick request. Give Dana more of his scream.
More of my scream?
Yes, scream, because you gave up your time for me, brother. Okay. I want them to scream for you one more time if we can get it in.
Ladies, I'm just, you know, I love you. I love you. I'm here all week, 2 days.
It's the greatness of what you guys do. I love it. I love it.
No, we appreciate you, man. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Thanks for being a guest on the show. Eddie, your jewelry's clicking in the mic. I know you all bedazzled, but make sure you're.
Oh, why am I? Ooh.
Yeah. Take. Come
Got on. It.
Yeah. Take that off. Shout out to my cousin Cedric Cotton, watching from St. Louis. What's up, St. Louis? Up in his house.
Yeah, yeah.
Eddie, Joe McClain, that's my Chicago brother. Which part of Chicago you from? West side, south side, north side?
Born and raised on the best side, the west side, and then
you got it, Joe.
And then as an adult, I spent a good number of years on the south side, so I can claim it all.
All right, got it. Eddie, you are here with us. We are glad to have you on the Donta Show. It's been a long time coming. We've been talking about this, you know, for quite a while, but you reached out. Here you are. So let the folks know what you do, because I feel a person can do their own bio better than the paper.
You know what that is.
You can keep it real. So go ahead.
I am Eddie S. Pierce Jr., the founder and publisher of Rainbow Room Publishing, LLC, where I have self-published a number of my own titles, recently published a few others. And Rainbow Room Publishing right now is really expanding, by the grace of God, to do a number of other things and productions that we can talk about later if we got time.
No, we good. Yeah. I mean, where do you want to start? Because there's so much we can talk about, because your hand is on a whole lot of different pots. You know, like, you know, you're doing a lot of stuff. So what you want to talk about? The books? You want to talk about publishing? You want to talk about how you started Rainbow Room? Why is Rainbow Room important? You know, I'm an author. You know, I have 2 books out, yes, and I recall that I was trying to get my stuff out there. I'm like, well, how do I didn't know what to do. You know, I know how to do it. I didn't know there were Black, you know, owned publishing houses that really cater to certain demographics and all that. I had no idea. So I'm assuming that you saw a hole that need to be filled. You know, what put you on the path to really starting, you know, Rainbow Room? And
I always have to make that distinction because we are not getting sued. Rainbow Room Publishing.
Pyro Media Network.
Right. Exactly. LeVar Burton will be on her like, son.
Oh, and I didn't even think about, because reading Rainbow, but I was thinking about the lounge in New York. But I'm going to clear that up real quick for you. Okay. So basically, I've been writing since I was about 9. I was encouraged by my family to keep doing it. And it was something that I've always done kind of in my free time for any number of reasons. And I'll never forget that my firstborn, Love Something Infinite. I got all the visual aids if y'all want them. This, I started writing this on a plane towards Las Vegas for an interview. And it was about maybe 20 pages by the time I got there, got back to Chicago. And around that time, I was applying to, as you aforementioned, come on, vocabulary aforementioned, Chicago State University's Masters of Fine Arts program in creative writing, the home of the Gwendolyn Brooks censor. But to get into the program, I needed 40 pages of fiction. So I said, I got 10 pages, I got 20 pages, you better find another 20. And then to graduate from the program, and this is just how art, and I think you can relate to this, you both can, how it is organic in the sense that it grows in its purpose and the purposes it serves in your life. And so it got me into grad school, but it also got me out successfully because I needed to write a creative thesis, which is a novel. And so I pretty much wrote the entire book for that purpose. And in the process of editing it and that sort of thing, I said, hey, this has helped me to deal with a number of things, reconciling my spirituality and my sexuality for one, finding out that I was HIV positive for another. And so I said, this may help someone else. And I looked at, thankfully from that education, I learned that publishing is shrinking and that for the most part, if you are not Jay-Z, Beyonce, Michelle Obama, or Barack Obama, a publishing house, TD Jakes, they are not about to take a chance on you. And so an analogy I love to use is that I decided to go the Jay-Z method. He sold CDs out of the trunk of his car. I sold books out of the trunk of mine. And when I first did the book, I saw where God, it was very, you brothers know where I'm going. He was very an Abraham moment. You have a book. Yes, you went through a self-publishing service, but you paid to have it done. You orchestrated it. You were the publisher. Now you need a company name. To clear up the name real quick, I'm trying to, at least. Whenever I had get-togethers, I would always have this story that came back up about how when I came out to a lot of my friends and family, and different people found out that they knew at different times. And one of my best girlfriends, one of my sorority sisters, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, proud man of Phi Beta Sigma Mutai chapter, sorry about that, Incorporated. And she said, well, it was like different people were coming to the party at Eddie's Rainbow Room, but they didn't realize that they got to the party at different times. And so when it was time for me to come up with a company name, God had already given it to me. And there it was. I didn't consider anything else. Rainbow Room Publishing was born the same night that my birthday, and the same night that the book was released in my home in Chicago on the South Side.
Okay.
I like how you talked about you were on the plane and you wrote the 20 pages, you know, and I talked to a lot of writers, and Dana can attest to this as well. People who have the gift for writing or have a story to tell, you know, oftentimes once you get into that zone, you know, you're there. You know, you're there. And I think it's also important to explain to the new writer or the person that wants to write their book, their story. They're not, I see my sis Lynette Patrice on here, and she has a powerful story that she wants to put into a book. And I think it's so important that she gets her story out. The key is just starting. Just write. You know, just write. And I met so many new writers that are trying to write. They're trying to write the next great novel. So they're writing and spell checking and editing the whole time. No, throw it up on the paper. Just throw up on the paper. You know, I remember I wrote this song for Dana, and Dana was like, yeah, it sounds good, but let's tweak this right here and let's do this right here. And I'm looking like, but that's my song. I thought it was perfect when I finished it, you know? And they was like, no, because you got to ride the beat. You got to do it. I'm like, but now you're messing with my perfect song that I thought was perfect, you know? And having the wherewithal to know when to back up and then let it fine tune throughout the process, let it age, you know? And I think that's where a lot of new writers, they get in their own way because they're so critical. So you threw up 20 pages on a plane. And then when you heard you needed 40 pages, you was like, okay, let me knock out 40 more pages. You know, it's like if let's say Beyonce did call Dana and say, I need a song tomorrow. I can guarantee you Dana would not go to sleep tonight.
And he probably already has, if not something ready, something he can tweak.
Something Beyonce has.
He's ready. He's ready.
Exactly.
Is the point. Yes.
Yeah. So talk about that. Just people getting in position and being, because I know a lot of times the opportunity is there, but people are not ready for it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no.
Like it's a lot of doors around us that are completely unlocked. Some are even cracked.
Yes.
But we're not ready for it. But we always talking about, I can't wait until, but you have nothing. You have no groundwork. You haven't tilled the soil. You haven't dropped the seed. You ain't watered it. You've done nothing, but you're ready to go to the next level.
I think a lot of people are scared of success. They talk a big game. They say this, they say that. They want to do this, they want to do that. But when they really sit down and they map out everything and what it all takes, some people get scared. And then they'll block their own blessing. They'll get in their own way. They'll come up with excuses. Like I said last week, procrastination. They'll put stuff in their own way to make up an excuse. Well, hey, Eric, did you write today? Oh, you know what? I had to go grocery shopping, so I didn't get to it yet. Well, Eric, did you write today? Well, you know what? I had to go do this, or I had to, wear my Chicago hat to the side, just, for whatever reason.
Right.
Just any old excuse to not work on what their purpose is. A lot of people just need to stay and know what it boils down to. Thank you. What it boils down to is people need to know and understand their purpose and their walk. Once you understand your purpose and your walk and what you're called to do, it'll be second nature. Because there's so many people of a jack of all trades and a master of none. Because you're over here, you're over here, you're over here.
Yes, speak.
Master that one thing, because that one thing may open the door for everything else.
Yes, confirmation. I hope my mama is watching tonight. Oh, she and I had that conversation all the time. But carry on. I'm sorry, brother.
No, I just told a young singer that today.
Run around the church. Yes.
Yeah. I told her that today. I said, I said your modeling may open the door for your music career,
Yes.
And I often always use Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx wanted to be a singer. Okay, well, that wasn't happening. But then as soon as he got into acting, that opened the door for his music. Then it was easier for him to do music because everybody knew his name. Everybody knew who he was. He didn't have to beat the streets like a regular person trying to get in the music industry because he let something else open the door for him.
Yeah.
Can I drop a real quick segue in here real quick?
Ahead.
I'm wondering if either of you saw this. I saw this in the last year or two, where Jamie Foxx was on an interview of some sort, and he was talking about how he was, like you said, trying to break into music, right? And so he was on in Living Color. He had just done the Wanda skit. And he was still dressed in the dress, in the wig, in the makeup. And the musical guest that night was either it was Teddy Riley just by himself or it was Guy. And he said, "Oh, here's my chance." And he said he ran down the hall in his stocking feet, looking as scary as he looks as Wanda with his demo tape. Because you remember back in the day we had cassettes, right? Yeah. And he was like, "Look, I know I look crazy right now." He's like, "Look, brother, I just want to put this in your hand." I can't remember what happened from that, but it was just this thing of he was ready in a moment's notice, and he took his shot when he saw it.
Exactly, because he got to, and we say this all the time, he got through the door to get to the table to be able to present that. Because had he been going the way that he was wanting to go and not tap into something else, he would have never had the opportunity to even hand anybody that.
Or had he said they're not going to receive it because of how I look right now.
Right.
You got to seize the moment.
Yeah, you have to.
You got to see Carpet. You got to see Carpet AM. You got to seize the moment.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. Go ahead.
I want to talk about, because a lot of people, finances is a big issue when it comes to, Shamika just shared that's a big issue when it comes to publishing. So we talk about, well, I don't have the money to self-publish. I don't have the money to pay for a marketer. I don't have the money to pay for Pyro Media. I don't have the money. So did finances ever block you what you need to do? And if so, how'd you get over that hump?
Okay, so we're gonna give credit first and foremost to Christ, because nothing would happen without that cross and him getting up off of it and giving me access to the blessings. When I tell you my first book, I took an extra loan from my I was in my grad program. I took an extra that refund check. I dropped that on the first book. The second book, no, actually that's in reverse. The first book, actually, I pulled from my retirement account. These were the Bush years, Bush junior years, and we were losing money on our 401ks. And I said, well, if he gonna lose money, I may as well take a shot on myself. And so, and man, and look where we are. God, I missed that altogether. Thank you. But the second book was where I had, man, look, we were losing a home, my partner and I at the time. I had an insurance check from some flooding. I had one of those refund checks from college. I published the second book and through a casino night release events with the real roulette tables, the blackjack tables, live music and everything. And it was just really this thing of use what you got. Use what you got. Now, everybody's not going to have that huge stack at any point, right?
Right.
And so one half of my dream was always that, the first half being that I find a vehicle to put myself out. And the other being that, oh, now I have a vehicle. How do I help other people to do it? And of course, it's a for-profit company. The not-for-profits are coming. But I am still always looking at, well, how do I keep it affordable? How do I keep it affordable? And so in addition to paying me to do everything, another great visual aid, a friend of mine gave me the advice to write this.
Okay.
A publishing guide. And basically it's through me, it's about $10, but it breaks down my entire process. And it goes to a point you made earlier, Dante, that the first thing you need to do is write. The very first thing I say in that book is, if you have not written something, you might want to put this down. Don't muddle your mind with the business while you're in the process of creating the art. But from there, it's 10 short chapters, each about 1 to 2 pages. The longest one is 3. And it goes from everything from the top of the copy editing, down through the copywriting, down through the design of the book cover, down through the promotions. Each chapter ends with action steps. What can you do in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days to complete what you read? And then at the very end, there is the 10th chapter actually is what I refer to as an accountability contract. I think, Danny, you kind of spoke to this. It's that person that you know is going to constantly remind you, hey, you said you were going to write a book. I ain't talked to you about this in a couple of months. Where are we with that? Do we need to go back to Eddie's book? Furthermore, in the book, you have a list of everybody I paid to do things and all the free resources that I found. It's a resource that's been designed so that for you, if you are the DIY person that can do it all, or even if you find yourself paused in any step, you already know to come back to me or any of the different people that I'm promoting, because that's what you guys are doing. That's a big aim of mine, promoting small businesses, particularly those that are Black and owned and or operated. And everybody in that book is. And so that's one thing that God showed me that I can do to help somebody else get their dream out.
And I think I want to rewind back to something you said, just to drop this nugget. You talked about how you invested in yourself, you know, and you took your retirement and you took this, took that. And I just want to encourage somebody who's ever watching, you got to believe in yourself enough to invest in yourself, you know, because that is taking a chance. You know, because even though okay, my retirement, this school money, I'm getting, I may need this money, you know, but it also increases your hustle, because if you have given your last $100, you know, to pour into your dream, you are now about to work to make your dream a reality. Because you're not gonna sit and say, I can't believe I spent $100 to do this book. Nobody's reading it. Well, first of all, nobody knows you has the book.
Right. No marketing. No.
You know, you ain't got no marketing. You ain't opening your trunk. You know, when I wrote my first book, I used to go to beauty salons.
Yes.
Because I knew women loved Elin Harris. And
I
my
went to
book
gay
was
clubs.
like Elin Harris. And I'm like, hi ladies, how are you doing? Oh my God, your book, your hair's so bomb, you're gonna be fine. Do you like to read? You know, and that was my hustle because I'm like, I gotta make this money back some kind of way, you know.
And if I can even touch on that real quick, I'm sorry. It's
Go
something
ahead.
that comes up in the publishing guide. Now I don't know the numbers anymore, but I did the research a while back, and the publishing guide came out in 2018, so I don't know how much things may have changed. But I learned somewhere that the average self-published author, based on their contacts, personal contacts, should be able to sell 150 books. Now, that's your friends, your family, your church members, your coworkers, the average random person that might buy a book, the person that buys two, whatever the case may be. And when I looked at where I price my books, typically at $19.99 online, but $20 in person for a number of good reasons, because I don't have time to get change. But that is 20 times 150. That's $3,000. And what I do is every time I sell something to some degree, I'm learning now not to do it as much as I used to, but I reinvest. I reinvest. I sell a book for 20. I can go somewhere and print 4 of those for that same price. And now I have another 80 bucks. I look at my book sometimes as dollar bills. That's a 20, that's a 20, that's a 10, that's a 20, kind of thing.
But don't sell your first 10 books and then go out and buy a car.
Amen.
Because you how you gonna pay the car note? You gotta keep reinvesting in yourself, reinvesting in your product. Joe McClain just made a very good point. People you never know be your primary people will never be your primary customers.
Right, exactly.
You know, I learned
sometimes,
that.
Yeah, sometimes
it's a lot of folks that know me. Folks is like, oh, I know Dante, but you don't have my book.
Well, and even to that point, and somebody validated my choice to do this, that I know there were conversations with me and God where he said, your birthday is the perfect time to release the book. Your birthday is the perfect time to have the anniversary. And so I threw and this is something I haven't put in the book as an idea somebody might go with. I threw what could have been a birthday party. And I said, in lieu of gifts, buy the book. So I had, I had 1,350 square feet. We had about good Lord, 75 to 100 people floating in and out. And this was grandmothers and fathers and stepfathers and cousins and friends from work. I had a brother who was from LA who knew me on Facebook who said, I'm in town that day. I'm coming through just to get the book. And so I was halfway to that 150 goal. And I have friends that have said, I bought the book and I never read it. I said, but it's on your bookshelf when people walk in.
I don't care if you read it. It can be a coaster.
Okay, thank you. I told her, I said, you can use it as bird feeder because somebody see the book and possibly buy it. So but I told her, don't tell people you didn't, but I told people don't tell them you didn't read it. Don't do that.
And then too, and Nicole Vick, who has her pushing through, Nicole Vick said, please don't be offended by folks because certain folks might not be your target audience. And that is the truth. I know my audience. I know who I wrote my book for. I know who is going to read it, who's going to be comfortable reading it. I know my audience. So I'm not tripping. I'm not tripping if Taquan don't have my book. Taquan is not going to read the kind of stuff that I write. And I get that. But if you're part of my target audience and you saying, oh, I ain't got your book because you just being a hater or just being that kind of way, then I'm looking like, well, let's talk. What's going on?
Well, and if I could add to that, God will surprise you. God will surprise you when you step out on faith, and he will bring in abundance. When I tell you that the first book was primarily, it's told from the lens of a same gender loving man. And I like to make that distinction. Black men, same gender loving men, gay, same word, but it also speaks to blackness.
Different context.
And so, yes. And so when I knew that I was writing through that perspective, that would be my target audience. But when I tell you that I had a straight female pastor of a predominantly traditionally heterosexual church, she read it and said, "Thank you for giving me insight."
Churches out there, cut that out.
Well, no, I said predominantly. Come on, we got our vocab. I ain't got my doctorate yet. I'm working right behind. I'm right behind you, brother. I'm in your way. But she, no, she said to me, "Thank you, because you presented to me what it might be like to be the gay person in a church." And to that day and since, she had never done anything publicly, personally, or whatever to offend me. But it was a surprise to me to see that I didn't even write this for her. And she loved it. She showed up at my second book reading, and she was in the back with my parents and I praying before I went out. She left the church picnic to come support me.
You never know.
You know, and so I'm just saying that you put it out there, right? You just put it out there and you trust God to do the rest. You plant your seeds and you trust Him to bring the rain and the increase.
Now, what?
Oh, go ahead, Dane. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. What is your inspiration? And are you writing from life experiences, or are you writing from friends or people you know experiences, and then you add a little something in there, or is it all fiction? Is it true? Is it,
Good question.
Yeah.
No, great question. I get it all the time. To be quite honest, my first love is science fiction.
Okay.
And I actually, man, I told you about writing as a 9-year-old. I have binders where I looked up later on and said, "Oh my God, I've been a publisher the whole time." I would take college ruled paper and write little stories, draw little pictures, make a book cover with the same paper, and a back with an imprint. And then I would take the twist ties from the garbage bags and from the bread loaf. And that's how I bind the book together. And so there was a formula that was kind of always in my head. But then when it came to needing to write at that season, it was honestly more so, and I just talked about this, so it's no big deal, and it's also in the books, and you see that I'm a well and healthy. But 6 months before this book came out, I had my second of 3 suicide attempts. And writing the book and putting it out was a way, honestly, to save my life, to save my own life. And that's one reason I said I know that there's some value in this for somebody else. But with that book, I did, it's nothing science fictional at all. It is what I have coined as autobiographical fiction, in the sense that there are events that happen exactly the same way. Names have changed, locations have changed, a lot of poetic license. But when people ask me that, it's a question that comes up all the time. Do you write from your experiences? I explain to them, and I think this goes to Dante's point earlier. Someone spoke to the idea, I think, of being able to reach the white people even, right? But the idea of, for me, I've learned that your writing, you have to somewhere in there seek universal truths and illustrate those. I'm writing as a Black gay man from Chicago, but I want this to resonate beyond just that demographic. And so God made me look and focus on the emotions, the truth of the emotions.
Right.
So sometimes the events never happened, but the way that I felt in that scene was gospel truth.
Right. That, wow, that you took the show for a spin.
Yeah.
And you can't do that. You can't do that, man, because
spin it on back.
Me and Dana, we're emotional Black men. We're not afraid.
But I see that, and I love that though. You guys,
I think you just really,
I love that about you.
Everybody. That was really encouraging, because we don't talk about why people write,
right,
and the power of writing and what it gets off of you, and for you to just so casually share 3 suicide attempts, and then the book just really kind of saved you. That's really powerful. That's powerful. Hey, so kudos you for that.
Credits to him. Credits to him.
Hey, y'all, real quick, we're gonna take a quick 30-second break, get some water. Eddie's gonna sip on whatever he's sipping on. We'll be right back.
I wasn't supposed to say that. I took the label off, so I wouldn't say it.
Right.
They got.
Welcome back to the Donta Show. Listen, if you have not followed us on YouTube, now is your chance. Please go to youtube.com/Donta Morris and hit that subscribe button and become part of the village. We would love to have you as a part of us every Monday and Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You don't want to miss out. You can also check out a lot of the past interviews that we have done. You'll be pleasantly surprised by the topics that we have covered and the celebrities that we have interviewed. Don't sleep on the Donta Show. So go on over there, subscribe, follow, like, and love us. We are back with our special guest, author and publisher Eddie Pierce Jr. And Eddie is just dropping nuggets, and people are
nuggets.
Right, they are being inspired. Lynette Patrice, this is so inspiring. I'm over here in tears. Eddie, I want you to meet with Lynette and meet with Shamika.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them have books in their bosom. They got books in their bosom.
Well, that's
bosom.
They need to give birth to. Now, get that out your bosom. Go and give birth. So I need you guys to check out Eddie's book about publishing, and then also all the other stuff that Eddie is doing. Listen, we got 8 minutes left. Eddie, come on. Talk about Rainbow Room. What has Rainbow Room got on its agenda? What is going on? How can we support this Black entrepreneur?
Oh, wow. So, man, I'm glad I brought the visual aids. What's going on right now is, from a Black perspective, this is a joy. I have done so much, but this is a joy. This is an anthology of 5 authors, including myself, with the exception of Sanya Haynes, who none of the others have been published before. And these are friends, actually. I love the analogy. It's me playing spades, putting all of the cards on the top, and I'm saying, I want this one, this one, this one, this one. I'm going to win this game. And so from a Black perspective, it's meant to basically debunk the idea that we as a people are monolithic, that we all have the same values, the same issues, the same drives, desires, what have you. And so it's a piece that has 5, 6 different pieces. And we are doing a free virtual live event this Sunday, April the 18th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Similar to you all, it's StreamYard, so it's streaming everywhere. And it will be an opportunity for people to hear live readings wherever they are, wherever they can access the internet. And there will be a live Q&A panel discussion. And so that's number 1. Number 2 is Save Some for the Poets. It's an April National Poetry Month event that is also produced by Rainbow Room Publishing. We will be broadcasting from a space here in Dallas, Texas, to the world on Saturday, April the 24th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Our featured guest and host performer is Passion the Lioness. She is also known by her given name, Danielle Hall, and she is a recent author of a collection of poetry, Danielle Unfolded. So she's going to perform alongside a number of different authors, well, not authors, excuse me, poets, spoken word artists, and we have confirmation just today of musical acts that will be involved in that. And then just to bring you all back, because I know y'all love her as much as I love her, Sanya Haynes.
Hey.
So she just released this one right before you guys talk.
What state is that?
This is Arizona. This is the first one that she and I are publishing together. Okay. Now you still need to go back. Anybody that didn't get Alabama and Alaska, and get those.
Yeah.
Just look, go get you a good Google list and say what are the states alphabetically, and you there. But I'm working with her, I'm remembering the states. And so in conjunction with the release of that, Auntie Yaya, she's also releasing Jaylus Johns Adventures with Agua and Ah in Arkansas, messing that up. But we're doing a virtual reading, which we are actually securing various satellite locations. I definitely want to talk to somebody in LA about how we may have different spaces where we can gather children and ideally with the elders, and she will beam in, broadcast in around the world, but also broadcast in at different spaces where we have a large screen. and we can do a split screen and show that not only are the children and the elders there listening, there is a coloring event, because there are coloring pages at the back of each book. And so we're already looking for sponsors to get us a small box of crayons that every child could have the crayons, and looking at where we can give away free books to those deserving children that want to be a part of that event.
I love that.
Yeah, that's
That
pretty tight.
is going to take place. It's tentatively scheduled for the Saturday before Mother's Day, so May the 8th. And we should have that information out soon, well, confirmed, and then be publicizing it soon. So those are like the main three things, with the notable exception of, like I said, I'm following you guys and studying you. I'm doing a podcast, Rainbow Room Publishing Live.
There you go.
And it will premiere on this Thursday at, let me see, that is 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. My first guest will be my own mother, the mother of Rainbow Room Publishing. And she is actually a fitness guru. She is T-Fit Lights is her name. And so she's one of several guests over the year up until the anniversary, November the 11th, 2021, will be the 10th year anniversary of the company and the first book. But half of the guests slated for the show will be people that were present. We actually have behind the scenes interviews from them back then in 2011. And we're going to reminisce about where we were at that time, at that point, and all of them have their own business. So I'm pulling the Oprah, where are they at now, from the 80s and the 90s.
I love it.
And so, and it's an opportunity to give back to them and promote them. And then the last thing, and I told Dante in a couple of messages in a couple of places that there was a special announcement that I wanted to make here, partly just to give back and thank you guys in this amazing outlet. I just finished a conversation today with the committee chairs for the Atlanta's Black Gay Pride weekend. Okay. And so I was asked by a frat brother, come on for networking, brother Ricky Smith. He's the president of the Literary Cafe, which is a part of the In the Life Atlanta organization. And so they have an event every year where they bring authors in during the day, in the midst of all of the partying and everything, giving a cultural component to the weekend, and an educational component, honestly. And so they said, hey, we want you to come in, be the moderator, be the person that selects the authors, and basically be the chair of the event. And so we're talking about several exciting things that we're going to do for that particular event, but how we can extend it to the whole weekend in an effort to support the authors that we pick, but also just broaden that cultural component of the event. So that's something that you can look forward to this Labor Day in Atlanta, and it will be streamed everywhere. So
love it.
Once again,
love it.
That was great,
hey, man, you busy, man. I love it. I love that you're able to pitch everything so eloquently. It makes a difference. And you live in Dallas right now, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're in Dallas right now. I got a question for the day that I want you and Dana to answer in 10 seconds. When this question comes up, just give me your answer in 10 seconds with the why. Kwame, do you have it? I mean, I know he has it. He's a great producer. Kwame has everything. He's Pyro Media Network. This is Kwame Corbett.
And that's why I'm trying to bring the show there. I'm trying to bring my show there.
Question of the day. We'll go with Dana first. What book changed your life and why?
The Bible.
Why?
Oh, he stole my answer.
Because it enlightened me on my walk. That's it. Amen.
Ta-da. Eddie, you. What book changed your life and why? You can't say the Bible.
I know, because he stole it, right? You know what? I have three people in head, but the main person that's going to come to mind is Elin Harris and Invisible Life.
That was mine. You two both took mine, but Invisible Life changed my life.
James Baldwin, B-Boy Blues. Boom.
There you go. So yes. James
Baldwin, James Earl Hardy. He's his mentor.
The show.
James Earl Hardy loves Baldwin as much as I do, and he know why I made that mistake. That brother knows he loves me. I love him.
Big Boy Blues and Invisible Life changed my life. Yes, because they just showed me on paper. And I was like, I appreciate that. Eddie, you have been a phenomenal guest, man.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on the Donta Show, talk about your books, your journey, Rainbow Room. I want to get you back on to talk about how you just overcame all of your mental health struggles, you know, with writing. Because I think that is so powerful. So we'll get that scheduled, you know, and get you back on. All right.
Love it.
Hey, man, so we appreciate you. Thank you so much, and we'll be in touch.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.